Futurist hat on in 2025, we'll see that politicians and decision makers start seeing the value of hemp and not worry so much about it being marijuana, because it's not. I mean, like you said, we have the capacity for farmers to grow building materials right here in the United States. They can be grown here, they can be made here, they can be used here. I mean, talk about not just an environmental win, which we all want, but an economic win too, because if those
Yeah,
two don't go together, this doesn't work, right?
yeah, it's been very apparent. Yeah, it's been very apparent that we've had a lot of good conversations with people outside the hemp industry that are in the in the construction and the building materials arena, and I guess to me it's mind-boggling, right? Like we sit back here, we live in this industry, and we see what's going on, and it's like there's no trees. Trees take 20 years to grow. We're not getting the logging is not as happening as frequent. And so I think a lot of these bigger companies are starting to go, oh, hey, what do we got for when this stuff goes, south? What are we going to do? And I think hemp has been really, really, the folks that are in the hemp industry are really pushing to show its validity as far as a tree replacement. And if farmers can grow that, I think that that's going to be, a key win for all of them. This crop is for everybody. This crop can be grown in a lot of great places in Wyoming specific. I've said this a million times. We don't really exist on the agricultural spectrum here. When people think Wyoming, they think Yellowstone, the Tetons, and buffalo and oil and gas. But we have some of the best farmers in the country that live in this state. And I think that instead of trying to compete with what Nebraska and Iowa and Kansas and all these really heavy agricultural areas have, we have a real specialty that we can work on because we have pockets of ag. We're not saturated. So if a farmer in Wyoming has, another avenue or another crop to grow and it does well, they're in. It's just where are we going to go with it after it's been harvested? And that's what we're working here at Wyoming Hemp Company really, really diligently for.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great if we could get to the point where, this crop is recognized for what it is, the building material replacement. It's also a healthier option to build with. It sequesters
Yes.
carbon when it's growing and as a building material. And not only that, there's been so much of the news about all the microplastics, and we can create bioplastics, as well. So there's a lot of environmental benefit, economic benefit, and health benefit overall. But if it's going to work, it has to start with the farmers, right?
It
And
does.
that's going to mean subsidies. That's going to mean big markets. That's going to mean the ability to process it in a way that can serve those markets.
Sure. I mean, there's a lot of risk on these guys to, they've got their farming plans figured out. These guys have been doing it long enough. They know what works, they know what doesn't work. And if we ask them to step outside their comfort zone, which they are willing to do, they are willing to do that. Farmers are incredibly resilient as long as there is something on the back end. Like, I talk to farmers all the time, and they're just wonderful, and they're not afraid to take risk as long as there's something on the back end. Failed crop on their end, failed crop on their end. But
Right.
if they win and they are able to produce, they expect to be paid for that hard work, and they don't want to sit here and have a willy-nilly contract and put all these eggs in a basket that they don't know if they're going to get paid or not. We've already seen that in the sugar beet industry. We don't need to see that in the hemp industry. So
Exactly.
we have really been trying here at Wyoming Hemp Company to ensure that the sales chain after the product comes in is solid.
So any last words in terms of what you see for 2025 and maybe
Grain.
beyond?
I see grain coming. We started our new product line of animal feed. We've partnered with some folks to help get that aligned. And I think that's going to be probably the cherry on top for a lot of our farmers. Right now, our main demographic is hay and alfalfa folks that can do stock material and just grow all of our, non-seed, just really great stock material. But with grain coming out, we've got a lot of row crop guys that this is right up their alley. They can get a crop in. It's grain. It's a lot more intricate, which they're already set up for. It pays, gives them another aspect of the hemp crop that they can get paid for. So it's not just the fiber; they're getting paid for the grain and the fiber. We started our trials this year on our test farm. We worked with New West Genetics. They were fantastically awesome on their grain side. Brought out their impact plot. We found the varieties that work, and I think that's one of the things that we're going to go along with when we go for those couple hundred acres this year. Is we're going to find a couple guys to start trying getting grain implemented, and I think that's going to be a huge caveat for this industry, especially here in Wyoming.
Agreed. Well, thank you, Justin. And I would just say to our listeners, if there are other topics you want to know about, let us know. Our goal will be to create more videos as we move forward and really elevate this industry and serve our farmers and our communities at the same time.
Thank you, Connie.
Thanks, Justin. Bye.
Bye.